This movie's not as good as I remember it, but um it wasn't bad. There's a few other Freaky Fridays that I'm never gonna watch, most likely. This was a part of my childhood, and then the others just don't even look that fun to watch. Just soulless reboots. I do want to talk about one thing real quick. Lindsay Lohan. Whatever happened to her? I know I could look it up and research it, but it's just crazy how far she fell. I don't ever see her in anything nowadays, but she was in Mean Girls. She was in a long going series Herbie, which was pretty popular when I was a kid. I don't know if it's still popular. No, she was also in Parent Trap. She's in this, and she's just been in a lot of stuff, and I've liked her in everything she's been in. Now about the actual movie, um, mom and daughter don't get along. They switch bodies. Now, how they switch bodies? Very odd. Um, they get a fortune cookie because a restaurant they go to, the girl doesn't like that they're arguing, so she gives them fortune cookies to switch their bodies because she wants them to have a good mother-daughter relationship. So they eat the cookies at the same time. Little earthquake happens or whatever. Not really an earthquake. Which also leads to a reoccurring joke with the grandpa being scared of earthquakes now. I think it's a pretty natural thing to be scared of earthquakes, but anytime something's like slightly loud, he runs out of a room and yells earthquake. It's not very funny. And that's something that they thought to add in the movie a bunch. Um there's this girl that's occasionally mean to Lindsay Lohan's character, but not really her character. Um really Jamie Lee Curtis's character. She's mean to her a few times in the movie. She really doesn't have that big of a role. She's just kind of mean to her in a few scenes here and there. And it leads to absolutely nothing. We do get like a throwaway line where apparently they like the same guy and that's why they're fighting. But it literally doesn't go anywhere. It literally doesn't matter. So if you cared about that side plot, then sucks for you because it doesn't matter. Nothing happens with it in the movie because they're more focused on her band and Jamie's husband in the movie. Um, yeah. She also technically kisses uh, an underage guy to get him to shut up because Jamie is in Lindsay Lohan's body and she kisses a guy and he kind of like falls in love with Jamie, but the actual older one. Um, a full grown woman, and he's a high schooler. They they don't go like full on with it. He kind of knows that the relationship can't happen, but at the same time they're really pushing it. It's very weird how they portray it. It's definitely something you have to watch the movie for because it's really hard to describe. Um it's very odd. And then he sees Lindsay Lohan sing one time and play her guitar or whatever, drums. I don't remember what instrument she played. And now he likes her or whatever, and they're dating, even though he had fell in love with Jamie Lee Curtis because um, they had like a lot of similar entrances or whatever. I really don't get what this movie's doing. It's very odd at times. I honestly don't know how it got so popular. It's just like very odd. It's still a decent movie, but it's weird and not in a good way, just like a weird, confusing thing. It's still entertaining because of the actors, But I think this movie probably massively would have flopped if it was two unknown actors. Because it's such an odd movie. Um, they get a little happy ending. The movie ends with, a typical corny 2000s joke where now other characters are going to experience the same problem, but it gets stopped. The grandpa and her little brother get into a little argument, so the restaurant girl tries to get them to switch bodies. It's something. There's also like a weird line where the grandpa, who's obviously a grandpa, he's in like his 80s, 70s, whatever, and he was like, if I was your age, yeah, I'd date her. Talking about someone that's probably 9. It would be questionable enough if the girl was a high schooler. But he's saying this about a 9-year-old. What the fuck? And it's just supposed to be like a funny joke, I guess.